Time is the only currency that we never really truly get back. Yet we trade it away so casually, whether that be through scrolling, worrying, or procrastinating. We treat it as if we'll always have more, but here's the truth, we won't. Time doesn't wait for anyone. It's pretty harsh, and it's the one thing that seems to always slip through our hands, especially as we modernize into a more increasingly overstimulated world, no matter how tightly we try to hold on to. And whilst we, spin on this random rock in space, we need to ask ourselves, what are we really doing with our time? And are we using a lot of coping blocks in order to essentially quote unquote waste time? And here's the crazy part, because time is the only resource in the world that we all share equally. It don't matter if you're from one country or what race you're from or who you are, we all have the exact same time, or at least in the space of the 24 hours in a day. And so a lot of people, they let it slip away, being stuck in cycles of avoidance or regret and going back to the sort of substance abuse. Some people may, develop issues of alcoholism or some kind of substance abuse where they cope with. So, how are you spending your time? Are you spending it wisely? Or are you again using it to escape reality with mindless distractions, fulfilling your animalistic urges of just being, I guess you could say, bored? You're trapped in endless loops of, again, overthinking, maybe stress, maybe self-doubt, and then you let time pass as you sit paralyzed, watching the clock tick away as if time itself is the enemy. Look, I completely get it, because life does feel chaotic sometimes, with everything that's going on. Nothing goes according to plan. And again, there's going to be failures or maybe heartbreaks or disappointments that come along the way. And we will always have days where it feels like we're losing the battle against time. But here's the thing, dwelling on that stuff is really important sometimes, but it's not going to stop the clock, and it's not going to magically add hours back to your life. So instead of focusing on what's out of your control, why don't you try asking yourself this: what can I do right now? Maybe it's letting go of the pressure to fix everything at once. Maybe it could be taking one small step forward, or maybe even sometimes just giving yourself a moment to breathe. Because sometimes the most productive you can do is quite simply nothing. In a society like today, where again, I was talking about overstimulation earlier, not having to constantly bombard your mind with so many different things, truly doing nothing and letting your mind reset can really help you heal. It can really make you present, and if anything, it can make time go, or at least appear, slower. Silence is revolutionary, and it's in these kind of quiet moments that clarity comes, alongside the fears and obviously doubts that you might have had from a lot of, again, setbacks that happens in life. But you can at least finally hear your thoughts instead of, again, the constant distractions around you. And when you're in this silence, you have to ask yourself, what matters most to me? Is this how I really want to be spending my time, in this state of mind that's driving me lower? Because the way you kind of spend your time, this really, really expensive currency, is a reflection of your priorities, because that's how you utilize it. Again, if you're someone who's maybe too busy to spend time in joy, what does that say about what you value? If you never make time for what your passions are and what really gets you going, how are you ever going to grow? And if you're going to be spending every free moment being consumed by worry, then are you truly living, or are you just pretty much existing in pain and suffering every single day? And life doesn't have to be this way. It really doesn't. And it shouldn't. I don't think anyone deserves to sort of feel like that. So I don't blame them, because again, that's just how this place is designed, I guess. But in order to change it, we need to start with small changes. We need to really kind of turn off the noise a little bit. We need to really sort of take back the hours, in a sense, from a lot of the mindless habits that we have, and become a little bit conscious, because every single moment is another chance to start fresh. From the moment you started this video to this point now, there's been several moments to start fresh. So the question isn't going to be, do I have enough time? The real question is what you're going to do with the time left. And if you want to be inspired a little bit, how do you want to be remembered from using your time? What kind of impact would you like to leave behind? What stories would you like to tell when you get old? And a lot of times it's going to be really hard to be present in moments where you might need to be or should be. But again, when it comes to stuff like this, just remember to take a little deep breath. Remember to kind of realize that, again, it's just a temporary experience, and that you are worth more than anything that you're going through in terms of suffering. And it should be illegal to just spending your time just worrying or not being the ideal version of yourself, whatever that means to you, right? So anyway, I hope that helps a few of you. Not to put any pressure on you, because I know how topics like this can really put pressure on you, and it might put you off. So face your fears with courage, and you have got this, man, under your belt. So just really keep going, man. I know you've probably been trying, so keep going. You'll make it one day.